But right now, since you have a lot of time in lockdown, is your opportunity to start reading and accumulating as much knowledge as possible. I mean, there's resources through YouTube as well, podcasts, but maybe there were certain times in the past where you thought it was probably important to do more research on personal finance. Hello everyone, this is Ronan Blue, just taking my daily walk here today. And today's topic would be on dealing with financial hardship during this pandemic. So this pandemic has really brought everything to our front door. It's almost like living in a zombie movie to a certain extent. So, you watch the news every single day about coronavirus, this and that, and it's affected the whole entire world. And it's actually created a lot of division in the world. You can see it, racial division and economic division, disparity, unemployment at all record highs. And, we're living through this, all of us, and it's quite interesting. Not sure if saying interesting is the right word for it, but it's very unpredictable for all of us. And not only has our old lifestyles changed, but we're very much living a new normal, and a lot of us are forced into this new normal. And it means in changing ourselves and adapting to it forcibly. And it means that you want to also adjust your finances as well. So I'd like to talk about some of those points today, and how this pandemic has really altered our American dream. But of course, it's not all that terrible. I mean, the majority of us are playing the blame game. And like for example, I blame the pandemic for not being able to travel overseas anymore. I mean, we were out there for about 5 months straight, and we were planning to go to other countries, but we're not able to because all the borders have been closed, or they have their rules right now on if you want to travel to a particular country, then you have to quarantine yourself for 14 days. There's no point to travel to that country if you're quarantined. So it makes the situation very uncomfortable. But there are others who actually try and lift the spirits of everybody as well, and it's great to see. There's people out there that are growing to become leaders, to give hope in this situation that we're facing today. And it's a lot of good advice out there as well. And I think it's very important to be positive in these situations, right? Other than dwelling on the negative. I mean, it's easy to blame somebody else for it, but it's harder to really take responsibility for yourself and finding ways to adapt and to better yourself, and to identify things as being a possible new opportunity for you, right? It's not the end of the world. We all know this is eventually going to go away, and how we deal with it right now would probably dictate what kind of person you will be in the future, right? After all of this. So how you dealt yourself the cards that were given to you during this time. There might be a wild card you might be able to pull out to better your lifestyle even further. Who knows? But for some, a job loss might mean in finding another opportunity and opening up a new business, as an example, over the internet, starting a side hustle. But it's definitely not wise to panic in these situations as well. You want to assess your situation. You're probably forced to do so. And looking at your particular situation. Like you might be someone who still has a job, and if you still do have a job, then you want to get in contact with your employer and ask them what the situation would be for them in the longer term, so you can prepare for the event that you might, lose that job, which is kind of a common occurrence right now with the economy. But you want to see whether or not you'll get some kind of severance package from your company. And you also want to do some research on unemployment benefits as well. You want to look at maybe some of the insurance that you have to tap into. You also want to look at the childcare benefits. So you want to be in preparation if you do have a job, right? Obviously, you'll be saving a lot more. Right now, the average savings rate per month has gone up from 6.5% to 20% on average per person. So there's a lot of savings going on. Well, because there's no way to really spend it other than Amazon. Amazon's, doing quite well right now with everybody in lockdown and people purchasing things online and having things delivered directly to their doors. You can also take advantage of those paid sick leaves as well in vacation time. And it's good that the US government has also implemented the coronavirus relief bill as well, for you to take advantage of paid sick leave. So, just to release some of that stress and maybe give yourself some more time to really sit down and research your particular situation. I mean, everyone's particular situation is unique, right? Everyone's lifestyle is different. Everyone's spending habits are different. Saving habits are different. In our particular situation, we're minimalists and we're quite frugal. So we're very mindful for the amount of money that comes in, especially being in financial independence. We definitely live below our means, but we do have our passive income streams and residual income as well, and these side hustles such as YouTube, and a couple of things that my girlfriend is working on as well. And I can tell you with certainty that there are options out there that you can really put your mind to, like the gig economy. It's just everything is done on the internet, and it kind of makes sense, especially now, because a lot of those jobs that require you to be in the front line are disappearing because of coronavirus and social distancing and all that. But the internet is where you want to see if there's any opportunities for you for starting a side business. But another way that we're dealing with this pandemic financially would be with our stock account. So we have been investing quite aggressively nowadays in taking advantage of the lower prices that we see, especially if you select individually selected dividends with yields that you get on a monthly or quarterly or yearly basis. So you want to take full advantage of averaging down, because when the share price actually decreases, the yield percentage for that particular stock increases. So you want to buy cheaper stocks at a higher yield and averaging down on the share price as well. So that's essentially how we're playing it, because first off, you can see that there's a disconnect between Main Street, where all the jobs are, where 20 million Americans have lost their jobs, and that's only just in America. if you consider the whole entire world, who knows what the number would be. But I mean, they say it's recovering, but those numbers that you see of unemployment is a number that's actually recorded of those receiving unemployment benefits. But those people who have fallen off that list are no longer being tracked. So that number of unemployment is actually much more exponentially higher than what's being mentioned over the media. So you want to keep that in mind as well. It might actually be worse than you actually think it is. But the point of the matter is, if you look at the stock market, there's an obvious disconnect between the rise of the stock market. I mean, the stock market has essentially recovered, right? Because of all of the fiscal and monetary and QE, quantitative easing, that the central banking systems of the world are coordinating together to prop up the world economies are doing. And the politicians will never let the stock market fail, because election season is coming. So there's a political agenda as well. So, I mean, that's where all of our retirement fund is sitting, the stock market. And the politicians, especially in the United States, are going back and forth. They want the hand of the investors, basically. I mean, Trump was saying that he's going to lower the taxes for capital gains, or they're going back and forth. But the reality of the situation with all of this stimulus and money printing, they keep throwing more money onto the situation to resolve it. And essentially it's killing the middle class, because with more money printing creates more inflation, especially on essential items. And I mean, there's deflation in certain parts of the market as well for non-essential items. So you're seeing sales being advertised by the retail space. But just because it's cheaper doesn't necessarily mean you should buy it. So it's my advice to you is take that extra surplus that you have and to invest it into good companies with a good balance sheet, and create a defensive position there over the stock market. But taking out a loan from your 401k or your home equity would probably be the worst decision that you can make, or even declaring bankruptcy, because it's going to hurt you in the longer term. So you want to try and avoid having to tap into those resources, even if they are made available for you. It's going to hurt you in the longer term if you do so. So the best thing to do is really to look for ways to find new money out there. And there are places where you can get that new money in doing some side hustles, maybe even giving you the opportunity to start a new business if you have some extra money. Maybe it could be an opportunity for you to buy some real estate, so you can rent that property out to get some residual income. But the real easiest way to really get that yield is the stock market. So yeah, like I always talk about, you want to get some ETFs, mutual funds, index funds, maybe some bonds, individually selected dividend stocks, and just hunt for that yield, and routinely invest from the paycheck that you're getting from the job that you may or may not have later, who knows. But for those who are unemployed, it might be a tougher situation, because you're basically using that emergency fund, if you do have one, to spend on essential items. So until you find that full-time job again. But there's definitely a lot of things you can start on your own, and some of which I talk about in my previous vlogs in detail. Freelancing, or you know, starting maybe a YouTube channel if you're not too shy. You know, a bunch of things you can take advantage of over the gig economy there as well, to make that extra money for you to sustain yourself during these hard economic times. So just refer back to my previous YouTube vlogs, and you'll find I might even list it right here, so if I don't forget. But yeah, and some of those ideas we have used as well to get that extra money. It's good to experiment too, and when you do experiment, you get that experience into really thinking in a different way. Really, you know, you become a little bit more inventive and imaginative on some of the things that you can do, especially with your own particular skill set. And the reason why I'm hesitant to name all of these different options is because each person is unique. Each person has their separate skill sets. So once you identify your own, then you can definitely take advantage of your own and start from there. And another thing you can do is, maybe if you have family members, you can have that serious talk, sit down and see what each individual skill sets would be as well, in pulling some money and ideas together. But right now, since you have a lot of time in lockdown, is your opportunity to start reading and accumulating as much knowledge as possible. I mean, there's resources through YouTube as well, podcasts, you know, but maybe there were certain times in the past where you thought it was probably important to do more research on personal finance, but you just didn't have that time. And now that you do have plenty of time, you should take full advantage of being able to read. The simplicity of reading in itself could really exponentially escalate your lifestyle. And another thing is, like, when you read and you accumulate knowledge, it's something that you implant into yourself that nobody else could take from you. And you can choose to read and apply the concepts that you learn about for the betterment of your life, or you can choose to sit on the couch and watch those old TV shows, those old movies. Who knows which one would be more beneficial? But some people are actually getting bored of watching the movies and television. So you might find a new kind of excitement picking up that book and learning something new on how to better your finances. But for me, I'm pretty much an introvert. So being in lockdown in certain ways, other than taking these nature walks, which I love doing, life hasn't really changed too much for me. But for those who are extroverts and who love going out to party, go to the bars and hang out with masses of people, life is very difficult now. But it also gives you the opportunity to see a different perspective as well, maybe to reflect on some of the things that could make you happy in these times, being positive and finding alternatives to maybe the lifestyle you had before. And you never know, right now it gives you the opportunity to explore. But a lot of you probably have never seen so much news before, because you're holed up in your your dwelling, there's not much else to do but to hear the news, and it really gets to you, right? I mean, I've been brainwashed to the point where whenever I see somebody, I really do not want to be near them. And I'm sure that's the case for you as well. And we're required to wear those masks now, and there's fines if you don't wear the mask. But you know, there's a debate on whether or not those masks even work, right? Those surgical masks are actually made technically for surgeons, where you know, it protects them from the spray of fluid on their faces. It's not necessarily to stop a virus, right? So, and actually saw, you know, these specialists who make those masks saying that there's only one particular mask that works, and that's the N95 mask. And that mask only works for a period of 2.5 hours, right? So you're gonna have to get another N95 mask, and those are quite costly. So, but I'm not sure. There's a lot of conspiracy theories going on right now, and you're not too sure who to listen to. Do you listen to the mainstream media, or do you listen to certain YouTubers or influencers? It's hard to know what the truth is out there. But one thing is certain is that all of this news that you're hearing on a daily basis is dividing all of us. It's made to divide us. But for me, or for us, I remember the Lehman shock in 2008. In this situation now, although, you know, multiple times more worse probably, there's some similarities to it as well. And those lessons I learned, or we learned during the Lehman shock, we're applying it today in this pandemic. And we're learning a lot of new things as well. So, but the important thing would be is to really be positive, and there's always a solution out there, and you can't just simply say it's the end of the world. I mean, some people are paying no attention to this pandemic at all. Some people are actually choosing to turn off the television to constantly hear all of that news every single day about the coronavirus every day. I mean, it does a number on your head, right? And some people still have the jobs. You know, in some ways, some people are benefiting big time because they're in forced lockdown, so they have forced savings. So they have all of the extra surplus coming in on a bi-weekly basis from their paychecks, and it really depends on those people who do have a job. It's a choice right now for you. It might be an opportunity, other than spending on all of those sales that are going on right now in the retail space. You might want to use that extra money to put into your retirement fund. But I think I'll end my vlog here today. Tell me what you think of all the points I spoke of dealing with hardships financially during this pandemic in the comment section below. Maybe you can share also on how you're dealing with the situation right now. I know that we're all spending a lot more time indoors, and maybe there's been some self-discovery that you can share in the comment section below. I would be very happy to hear some of those stories as well, if you can spare some time in sharing them. But if you like this vlog, please don't forget to give me a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell for more of my coming content here. Thank you for watching my vlog. Be free, gain wealth, and travel far.